how are you going to know the future unless you know the past? So you have to watch all these old classic movies, and then that way you understand what to bring into the future. Do you know who the very first action star was?
God,
It
we're
wasn't Richard
cinephiles.
Brown. The
You have a
very
hint?
first action star was Pearl White, and she had
Oh,
that
a
was in
woman.
1914.
Wow.
And she had a series called The Perils. I think it was called The Perils of Pearl, and it was like action for silent films, where
Yeah.
she was like she was defending herself from people trying to steal her wealth. That was considered to be the very first action, the first action star, because action films
Awesome.
hadn't really been created yet. There was a bunch of these characters. What was her name? Mary Pickford. People just wanted to have the direct opposite of that. They didn't want to have the good, wholesome, all-American girl. They're like, give me the girl that's going to knock some dudes out.
That makes sense. Listen.
Live from Factory Underground Radio, it's Scriptly Adapted with Quixote and Kate. You're on.
This is Quixote and Kate from
Woohoo.
Scriptly Adapted. This is episode 23, and we wanted to bring you a special episode. We got a great guest with us today, Kate. We got writer, producer, director, caster, Chris Kelly here today, y'all. Give it up for Chris, y'all. Give it up for Chris. Chris, first off, thank you for joining us, man. We've been going back and forth on social media trying to make this work, trying to get this to happen. We watched everything you sent us. We read stuff, and we were like, yo, we got to get him on. It's a must. So, Chris, thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. I listened to the show a couple of times. Like, this is all right. I like this. I can dig it.
Nice. We're glad you could dig it. But I want to get right into it, Chris. Listen, man, you sent us your short film, Bishop's Day. Okay. It's wrapped the film festival run with 16 wins, 28 nominations. When you were making it, did you ever imagine it would land the way it landed with the audience?
No. Short answer, no. When I had written the script, this was during the 2023 writer's strike. I wrote it out. It was written out as a feature, and I just started sending it off to everybody that I know. Just like, hey, man, I wrote a script just like everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody across the board, and I mean everybody, hated it. There was only one guy that actually liked it, and that was my buddy Jim. He became the producer on it. Jim Resnick, who's on the poster right there, he was just like, hey, I kind of like this. I understand what you're doing. He's like, this is kind of like Halloween and Friday the 13th, but like at a college campus. Like, and I was like, yeah, exactly. And he's like, oh, well, I think that we could probably shoot something with this, because he's a grip. He works him and his business partner is Damon Doherty, and they own Killer Clown Canvas. They make all the canvas for backdrops for the films here in Georgia. That warehouse is an actual warehouse. So he was like, we could just shoot it here, and we could just shoot like a little quick sizzle reel and then send it out and see what we can get. And I was like, all right, sure, because you're the only guy who liked it.
So what do you think Bishop's Day does differently that helped it stand out in the slasher genre?
I mean, as far as like with the slasher genre, I mean, it's a very basic thing. It's really hard to kind of reinvent it. Whereas you can only just, I mean, where did that slasher genre come from? I like to say Peeping Tom, but it just depends on what your perspective is.
I think that's actually one of the most appealing things about a slasher genre is that it gets you to feel real emotions like fear and, suspense and, fear.
I don't know if this was on purpose or whatnot, but the barber himself and the way he looked, did you want him to look menacing? Did you want him to look like a guy that is just a regular barber and he could be deceiving and boom, he's got you in his chair? And the look,
like
the look.
Old-timey.
Yes, that's what I got. That's what I got from it. Yep. Yes.
That's my buddy Clay. He actually had a full beard, and he had very long hair. And we had just recorded a podcast prior to that. Before we filmed, and then my friend Robert, or actually, I knew Robert's husband, who did the hair and makeup. I knew his husband Joe, and then Joe couldn't do this, so he sent his husband Robert. And I sent Robert a bunch of photos of like Clark Gable and famous mustaches. And I was
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I want. And I had a picture of Clay, and I had a picture of all like Tom Selleck and Clark Gable and Fred Astaire, and I was like, can you take these together? And he was like, sure. And he did that. Like, I don't know, it didn't take him very long.
With the I don't know what they call it, but the things on his arms, it's a very kind of 18th century, early 19th century, look to what you would expect old school barbers to look like, right? And I think it's a beautiful dichotomy because, and I know how you feel about the Sweeney Todd, but I think it's a beautiful dichotomy because when you think about those times and people like Clark Gable, it's very ironic because Clark Gable was the epitome of class and, old school, iconic Hollywood, right?
What I was going for was that it would be an outfit that was like an old-timey barber, but if you were doing like a celebration, kind of like a Santa Claus, you would want to have an outfit that anybody could wear.
I'm so intrigued by this, and I asked Kyoto because it was so well done. Like you didn't even catch it unless you caught it. I said, Kyoto, did you notice how the characters' names were guy and girl? He was like, no, that was one thing I didn't notice that. And I said, yeah. I said it's so interesting. So what was your methodology behind that, or do you just want to do it that way to be different? Like, why did you do it that way?
It's
because their names.
Their names are just guy and girl because they're throwaway characters. It doesn't matter what their names are. Girl, my friend who's
there he is.
Joey
poor guy, no pun intended.
He usually has a full beard, and I had him shave it. And he came in, and we were just like, "Oh my God, who is this?"
He just looks so young. I'm sure he looks much older with a beard.
Oh, he does. He looks about a good 5 to 10 years older. I actually just saw him the other day because we were shooting some stuff for my zombie one that I'm doing. He's playing one of the zombies.
Okay.
But the idea is that these are throwaway characters that it really doesn't matter what their names are. And when I wrote it out in the script and I sent the script to my friend, he just laughed hysterically and he was like, "Oh my God, they really are just named guy and girl. That is genius."
I wanted to, change topics just for a second. So, you have a podcast, right? And we got to bring this up. You have a podcast, classic American movies, which hit #1 in film history podcasts in several countries. Why do you think audiences today are still drawn to classic films, and what made you do something based on classic films?
People just want to. Well, how are you going to know the future unless you know the past? So you have to watch all these old classic movies, and then that way you understand what to bring into the future. Like I was talking about this earlier today. Do you know who the very first action star was?
Oof.
God, we're cinephiles until
Oof. I don't know.
Super.
You have a hint?
The first action star was Pearl White, and she had that
woman.
was 1914.
Wow.
And she had a series called The Perils of Pearl, and it was like action for silent films. It's considered to be the very first action, the first action star, because action films hadn't really been created yet. Mm-hmm. And at the time, there was a bunch of these characters. So it was basically, what was her name? I can't remember. Mary Pickford. She was the
Mary Pickford. Yeah.
Yep.
She was the very first, I guess you'd call her the very first star.
Yeah.
People just wanted to have the direct opposite of that. So they didn't want to have the good, wholesome, all-American girl. They're like, give me the girl that's going to knock some dudes out.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Listen.
But yeah, she was the very first action star. You have to watch those. You have to pay attention to the old movies. And then that will then get you to make movies in the future.
What would you say is one of your favorite classic films and kind of one that helped shape you and your style as a director, if you had to pick one?
Well, my favorite movie of all time is Giant, James Dean, Rock Hudson, and Elizabeth Taylor. That movie has everything. If you haven't seen it, I'd strongly recommend you carve out the half a day because it's a beast of a movie.
Oh God, you gotta love those old 4-hour movies.
Man, you just
Louise.
Okay.
But
I gotta take it in doses.
3 generations of people.
Okay.
It's all about how Rock Hudson, he's the Benedicts, and he's like one of the most rich, successful people in Texas. And he hates Jet Rink, who's played by James Dean, and he's kind of like he's a ranch hand. He's kind of a screw off, and Rock Hudson eventually fires him. And then James Dean's aunt dies, and she owned a section of land on Rock Hudson's land, and she wills it to him. and they want to buy. Rock Hudson wants to buy this from James Dean because he knows there's oil on that land, but James Dean doesn't know that. So after a while, he figures it out because Elizabeth Taylor, who's Rock Hudson's wife, comes to visit. Her foot steps in what they believe is mud, but then up fills oil.
The oil.
And he's like, oh, so this is why you wanted my land.
Now I want to get to your next project, your next short, The Dinner. Okay, described as a Hallmark-style horror film, which is amazing. That right there
That's
got
interesting.
me. Kids
Wait,
on the Hallmark.
Can you expand that, please, for a
Now,
second?
yeah. So I'm
My eyebrows
please,
up. You just can't see it.
Tell the people and us what to expect or what we can expect from your next project, The Dinner.
The Dinner is more like a Hallmark-style horror film. So what I mean by that is that I'm going to have lighting that's going to look very much like a Hallmark film, very bright, very bright lights. And all the actors have natural smiles, which is the Hallmark look. If you watch a lot of Hallmark, like me and my wife, everybody has a natural smile. Like they're always they're always smiling. So all the actors that I've been auditioning all have that natural smile look. And it's all about the character of Wes, who's named after Wes Brown, who is the #1 Hallmark actor. He plans to propose to his girlfriend, Lacey, named after Lacey Schaber, the #1.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Party of 5 in the house. That's right. Taking it back, Chris, to the 90s. God, I love it.
He's going to propose marriage to her during the family dinner. And he's like, going to talk about all, like, when they met, how they fell in love. And the dialogue that I use is actually the stuff that happened when me and my wife met. I even have them saying, like, we met at Van Gogh's Pizza, which is where me and my wife met, in Van Gogh's Pizza in Savannah, Georgia. And I even wrote what I actually ate, which was jalapeno and pineapple pizza. She was grossed out by it, and I put
interesting choice.
I don't know her, but I might be on her side.
Yeah, interesting.
The door, and it's zombies, and the zombies then come in, and then it's all havoc. That they're all like they're trying to fight the zombies, but the zombies overtake them because that's what we want. Everybody wants to see that. And the guy still has the ring in the hand, and then the zombie bites the hand off.
Oh, no.
Classic. Yeah, that's great.
Would you say it's like a dark comedy almost too, or is it strictly like okay,
Dark
like a dramedy, I guess? Say just for a second, because it just sparked something in me when you're talking about your team, your creative team. Something I did want to mention about it. I have to say your sound editing was fantastic. The sound effects were, I mean, when you talk about, I think I was just like noshing on a snack or something, and I was watching it, I was like, yeah, I can't do that. I'm very squeamish. I was like, it's even harder in my opinion. I mean, this might be a hot take, but in my opinion, it's harder than lighting. It's very, very hard because if you don't get the right sound or you miss the right sound, mixing your audio in post is very, very hard. And so the fact that you guys got those sound effects, like, and I'm sure a lot of them you did accentuate in post, but they were spot on.
Were the blade that goes ching. That was we just recorded that from on an iPhone. We just took 2 regular knives, kitchen knives, and just went ching ching, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And
interesting.
Then I did a slow, and then thing, and then we just we did that for 30 seconds, I think, and then we just kind of slowed it down, sped it up, doubled it up, and the way we made that sound more, I guess you'd say, more aggressive. We just doubled it up. So this would be for people who are actually like real nerds about this. If you notice the sound whenever they click manual clippers, whenever I does it, it's like click, 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 click. And then when Bishop does it, he goes.
In filmmaking and podcasting, what excites you the most right now about where your career is headed?
Ooh, man, loaded question. Can we go back to favorite slasher movie?
That's funny. We will have another detailed question.
I think filmmaking, because I wasn't really expecting Bishop's Day to be as being as received as it is. And whenever I started getting my awards, I was like, wow, I guess people actually like this. And whenever I won the best local short at the Atlanta Spotlight Film Festival, which is, it's kind of like, I guess you'd say the Golden Globes of Atlanta, I guess is the best way to put it. When they handed me the thing, I mean, the award is like the size of a football. And I texted my wife when they were handing out the awards. I was like, man, I hope I don't win that, 'cause I think it's huge. And then they're like, and the winner is Bishop's Day. And I was like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
They just said that, it's whenever you have money, you can do these things. But whenever you don't, it really shows your creativity.
Exactly.
I didn't have anything. I mean, literally, we paid for everybody with hats. I spent $300 on hats so I could give everybody a nice gift for donating their time. And then I paid for everything. We paid for the food, and then the special effects throat gag was $100. And then it was like, other than that, it was like all that was just crap. Like literally, the lights were, we were just praying to God they weren't going to explode, and the wraps around the lamps and everything, those were all just thrown away from other shows.
What scares you more as a filmmaker? Bad reviews or no reaction at all?
Probably no reaction at all.
Your face. You're like, no reaction at all. Fair enough.
Yeah, because bad reviews, I don't really read reviews that much. I just kind of post and ghost. If you read the comment section, you'll kill yourself.
Yes,
you
can.
And
Question: I want you to just give me the kind of one of the first things that come to your mind. If you had to give a quote or just a quote of some sort of, I don't know, knowledge or reverence of things in your life or whatever, and you were in a room with a bunch of first-time film students who are trying to do this, what would that quote be? What would the Chrisism of the day be?
Two quotes come to mind. The first one is from Rocky Balboa, and he said in the movie Rocky Balboa, when he's talking to his son, about the world is going to beat you down, but it's not about how many times you can get knocked down. It's about how you can come back swinging. One is from Joe Bob Briggs, who's one of my biggest inspirations for filmmaking and one of the biggest inspirations for my podcast. And he had, whenever he showed the movie One Cut of the Dead, which, have y'all seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but easily the most inspirational film you'll ever watch in your life.
Plug yourself shamelessly. Do it.
You can find me on Instagram at Classic American Movies or at Bishop's Day or at the dinner_movie. And the Seed and Spark campaign will be going up for the dinner probably in another 2 weeks. We still have to smooth things out. And Seed and Spark, if anyone out there, just go on Seed and Spark, look up the dinner. The link to that's also on the Instagram page of the dinner_movie. Just donate, whatever you feel comfortable with. And hopefully we can make this movie.
That's awesome.
It's been a pleasure. Chris Kelly, give it up for Chris Kelly, man. Director, writer, producer, podcaster, coming on the show to, give us, what he's doing out here in the film industry, the stuff he's trying to make, the podcasting, all that. So if you want to support, go on the Instagram, check it out. All his stuff is there. Chris, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're just listening to Scriptly Adapted on Factory Underground Radio and Live 365. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Scriptly Adapted.